Good evening, everybody. I hope you can see us, I hope you can hear us, and I hope you can join us. It would be an absolute pleasure to have your company this evening while we have a little look through our brand new Christmas collection and fit in a few demos with it. Now I'm going to have a little look to see if I can see on the screen if we've got anyone joining us. Oh, I can see Kim's with us. Lovely to have you here. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. We are in our brand new studio. I know if you're looking behind me and thinking, I ain't normally got that behind him, you are very, very right. We have officially moved our studio to the new warehouse. And I'm going to be honest with you, I have no idea where anything is. So when I go off for 5 minutes looking for something, don't be shocked. I don't know where the glue is, I don't know where the plates are, I don't know where the dies are. Honestly, it's chaos. And you're joining us for our very first live. But I'm promising you now we'll get through it together. But before I go any further, shall we check out where Pete is? We may have moved location, but it doesn't mean that hostage cam has gone away. Oh no, no, no. Let's check out hostage cam.
Hello all, how are we all doing? Hope you're all okay. I've been released briefly, so I'm in my new cupboard now. So are we all okay? Are you all doing good?
You've been released to your new cupboard and you have a window.
I do have a window.
You have a window.
I looked through the window.
I have a very bright window behind us, which is kind of distracting, so apologies. But yes, he has a window. He even has a brand new ivy tree plant thing in a vase. You know, not in a vase. What? I want to say. It's not nearly dead.
It needs some nursing.
It looks bushy. It looks alive.
Does it? It could be fake, you know. But
it's not fake.
Real.
It is real. It is real ivy.
Yeah.
It is. Yes, yes. Bought from a Swedish store. Like most of our world is bought from a Swedish store.
Are available.
Other ivy stockists are available. Jesus. Okay, we're going off on tangents about ivy. Let's have a little chit chat to everybody and see who's joined us. Oh my goodness, there's loads of you with us again this evening. So, hello to Kim, obviously. Good evening, Yvonne, Laura, June, Pippa, Pat, Wendy, Joyce, Rosie, Sue. Oh my goodness, there's loads of you here. Thank you so much for joining us. It is absolutely lovely to have you with us. Laurie apologises for being late. She's had domestics. Do not fear. We understand. Me and Pete have domestics constantly. You might just mean domestic jobs to do. I mean domestics as in like, you know, little moans, but no, we're very good. We shouldn't moan. So, okay, enough about us and marriage guidance. This evening, of course, marks our Stockist launch night, doesn't it? Which is a very, or day. I'll get there in a minute. Stockist launch day. It officially, our new collection, the Christmas collection, that you can see bits of behind me. And we've got lots of samples we're going to go for, and then we'll do some demos as well, I promise. This officially launches with our Stockist literally around the world at 10 AM tomorrow morning. So tonight, we're just going to give you a little bit more inspiration of what you can achieve with it. Now, before we go on and I talk to you about all of the Stockists and bits, there's a couple of bits to tell you. First of all, I want to say a huge thank you to all of you who joined us on the Hobby Maker shows. And that doesn't necessarily mean if you purchase something. Of course, if you purchase something, then that's an absolute joy and thank you very much. And if it weren't for people purchasing our products, we simply couldn't do what we do. So whether you've chose to support Hobby Maker or you go through one of the Stockists or whatever, it's amazing that you're supporting us, so thank you. But actually just tuning in, your comments, your emails to the studio, I've read as many of them as I could possibly get my hands on, and genuinely the support was absolutely amazing. Both me and Pete have been blown away by the level of support we've received going to Hobby Maker. And that's not only from all of you lovely guys at home, but actually Hobby Maker themselves as well. They've been incredible with us. And you've probably seen that through the videos and the sort of interviews and bits they've been doing. And it's been a true joy to kind of go back to them and do some shows with them. And as you know, there are more shows coming. And we told you at the end of the last one, and I sound vague because I can't remember the dates, but Pete will find them for us while we're chatting. It's probably one of the only things I didn't write on my little bit of paper this evening, but there are more shows coming up with Hobby Maker, including of course Gwen. Gwen will be back on Hobby Maker and I can't wait to see her join the team again and join us and represent and fly our flag for us, and that will be coming up towards the end of July. Now, more on that later. I'm not going to tease you now, but remind me later and I'll give you a little tease of something that's coming up later this week, because there's time that we need to tell you some bits, but we'll tell you that later on. So let's stick with our Stockist launch evening news. So our Stockists who have this collection already en route to them and by theory should have it ready to launch tomorrow morning, so keep an eye on them. But if it isn't, it's in boxes en route, and maybe they haven't yet put it online, or maybe it hasn't quite got there yet. But either way, let's tell you where it's going to be so you know. So, Stockists here in the UK, they are the Art of Craft, Unicorn Crafts, Into Craft, Dragon's Paper Craft, Craft Bliss, Cheshire Crafts, Gilly's Crafts, and Craft Mania. And of course, very, 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 very few bits are available from Hobby Maker. Last time I checked, I think we was up to 17 sellouts. And that goes from massive bundles right the way down to individual pots of glitter. It was a hugely, hugely, hugely successful show. I'm going to look to Pete now for some answers. Order-wise, we're currently packing, what, about 450 450 that is.
450,
about
I think.
450 parcels are currently literally still being worked on as we speak, and bits are being added to boxes. I point that way because they're in the warehouse. We're tucked away in a little corner of the building, so we can't hear them or see them, but they're being worked on even at this time. We was in yesterday. We're doing our best to get them shipped out to you as soon as possible. Now, as I mentioned, they're all of your UK stockists that have this product available as of 10 AM tomorrow morning. There are a few international ones as well, so let's give a little shout out to those. So the Paper and Ink Boutique in Canada have this en route to them. Do you think that's going to be there by now? I'm putting you on the spot now, aren't I? Might be, mightn't it?
8 days, I think.
About 8 days for our parcels to reach Canada currently. So it might be a couple of days away. They're very good. If you've never watched them on Facebook, they're very, very good. They do a little like live video, and I know I've shared a couple of them, but they do live videos and really run through a collection for all the different brands and bits they stock. So keep an eye on them. They come up with some amazing ideas. So always worth watching. Then of course we've got the lovely J Craft in Australia. Jeanette has her parcels already en route once again, doesn't she? Jeanette pretty much stocks, I think, virtually all of our product lines now, doesn't she? I believe.
Well over 50%.
Yeah, there's quite a lot. There's an awful lot of product available from our lovely Jeanette at J Craft in Australia, and then very similarly actually for picture stamps in New Zealand. Robin again has kind of gone back and stocked up for a lot of the back catalogue, including our brand new collection. So again, you've got kind of a few options now. You've got New Zealand, you've got Australia, you've got Canada, and of course you've got the UK. And then just to top all of this off, we will be back with this collection on Highlight Crafts or liveshopping.vip, which is what I think I'm supposed to tell you. Liveshopping.vip. I can't keep it all in my head, honestly. Remember, like a sieve. And those shows will be coming up on Wednesday the 16th and the 17th. Now, I've told you all of the available areas that you can get this product and this collection. I'm going to be 100% honest with you. The numbers of what we have left available, and I'm talking at this stage in the warehouse, so not what everyone's got, but in the warehouse, you see the Hobby Maker shows potentially, I'm guessing, or you've possibly seen the posts. We don't have a lot left, and I truly mean that, hands up. We're talking under 20s on quite a lot of items, and literally under 20s. When these launch tomorrow, we normally see that our stockists jump on board and reorder the bits that they find are flying out the door. I will be shocked if by this time tomorrow evening, we're not going, do you know what, guys, I'm sorry, there is no more and it's going to be a while. So if you have, and I'm not trying to like push you into anything at all, quite the opposite. I've always said to you, when we've got low stock, I'll tell you, because if you've got your eye on something and you're thinking, oh, I'll wait till the next payday or wait till the next whatever, or I'm going to save up for that. Sometimes it's nice to know that actually, if I don't jump on that now, I'm not going to get it for a couple of months while we wait for it to come back over. So yeah, this whole collection, genuinely, very, very limited stock. And that's the truth. Okay, so let's say hello to a couple more people while I'm waffling, because honestly, I can just waffle forever, can't I? Peter, you seem to be writing a little book out over there. Should I be worried what we're writing?
I'm making a few little notes for you.
Oh, are you? Oh, okay.
I'm trying to track down the shows, but...
Oh, yeah, oh, okay. He seemed very distracted and jotting away. He might have picked now to write his autobiography. I've got no idea.
Yeah.
Let's have a little look and see if there's any comments, because Pete has been very neglectful of you. The studio looks nice and bright. Do you know, it's very bizarre. Studio lighting is very peculiar. You turn off half the lights and just have big lights on, which probably makes no sense whatsoever. But it's actually quite dark in here, isn't it? And actually, but yeah, on screen it
On
looks very
screen,
bright.
yeah,
I
is
don't know how the magic works, but we just trust the experts and go with it. But I'm glad you like the look of it. It's something that we're very excited about, is to have a nice bigger studio to be in and have a bit more room to display what we're talking about. And it means that I've got trays of bits here to go through with you, so it saves us kind of digging off to get them and bits. So hopefully our lives, although I waffle for England and probably are bored of tears already, hopefully they can run a bit smoother and a bit quicker. It also means that later, and I'm not talking soon, so I shouldn't even be mentioning it, but later down the line, you might see some other people pop in and join me or pop in on their own and do some lives and bits. Thinking DT members along them lines, no pressure guys, but just giving the options out there to anybody who kind of wants to pop in, have a chat or make something and give you a bit of inspiration. But we're talking long term, not tomorrow, and not a selly way, just a company way, just let's have some inspiration from another crafter, because if you must get bored of listening to me waffle on, so it would be lovely to bring in some more people and meet them. I also know that one of our stockists is coming to visit us in a couple of weeks, and I did think, I know again I'm talking and I haven't even chatted to Pete about this, and he's still writing down over there, but I did think it might be nice to do a live with our stockists that are visiting. Could have a little chit chat, little informal chit chat, and they could tell us a little bit about their world.
They could tell us the brutal truth about what they think about us, I suppose.
I don't know if we need to encourage that kind of behaviour, but it could be a nice evening or afternoon chit chat with them. So, okay, let's move this on a little bit, shall we? So, our homework this week. Thank you so much to all of you who have entered. We have had a bumper week of entries, and it's been an absolute joy to go through them all. So, thank you very much for taking part in that. Our winner this week, little drum roll. We need a sound effects board, Pete. That's what we should be working on the shopping list. Our winner this week is the very talented Stacey J. So Stacey, if you're watching, please could you message the page directly and tell us your address, and we will have a bundle of goodies posted out to you as a competition winning prize for joining in with our homework. Of course, there will be new homework set later on in tonight's live so that we can do it all again next week with a different mission. Now, I think that is all of the notes that I have to go through. I think so.
I think so.
Do we think so?
I think so.
I think so.
Adam's joined us. How lovely Adam Humphries is now. I can't even talk now. You take over. You do it so well. We're
both, honestly, good evening, Adam. Lovely to have you with us. But I think we've had a very busy week, haven't we? What with the shows, and then over the weekend we moved the studio in and got that set up, and picked a lot of the orders and bits.
We
and
did most of it.
Pardon?
You did most of it.
Most of it. It's been a busy. I want to say it's been a busy week, but it feels like it's been a busy year so far, and it's not over yet. There's more to come. But I'm going to stop teasing you, and we're going to go through this little bundle. So, for our new collection, just in case you didn't catch the Hobby Maker shows, and this is a complete new collection to you, let's start from the beginning, take you on a little walk through the collection so you can see all of the goodies that you have available to you as of 10 o'clock tomorrow morning when it launches with our stockists. So our first item we're looking at here is our Kaleidoscope, our Christmas Kaleidoscope. Now actually, at this stage, I'm going to bring in the previous ones because I keep going on about these. We did an original one. This is the first one that we did. This one come out last, I want to say October, maybe, around then, weren't it? Yeah. And then recently we did our octagon version, and these two are very everyday. And they don't both interchange with our Christmas one, only the circular one does, because obviously the sections to the octagon are quite a bit smaller. And this was intentional because I wanted to bring you a smaller version of it. But you've got your octagon version, then you've got your everyday. What's Daniel call it? The OG.
The OG.
The OG. We just keep getting little notes everywhere from Daniel, who is my nephew, who runs the stockroom. He's our warehouse manager as such. And anytime he's talking about the different stencils or the dyes, or he sort of points out that we need to order any more, we just get the OG Kaleidoscope wrote down. And me and Pete, being very old and crusty, had no idea what that meant. And I was like, what is an OG? What does that mean? So yeah.
I knew because I'm sort of, with it.
Oh, you think, do you? You think. Okay, so with our original one, completely interchangeable with our Christmas one. So all of these sections can be sort of mix and matched in with this set. And I mention this because you might want to use the polka dot one perhaps with that lovely snowflake section, for instance, or maybe you want to bring over the stars and put the stars in over this side with the tree or the fern, or, you know, the idea is it's completely movable. You might also choose to use the corners and sort of change them around, maybe bringing the hearts to go with the Christmas instead. There's lots of options in how you can play around with those. This one, as I say, isn't interchangeable, but it is the same style of product, but a slightly smaller version, if you would prefer to play along with that kind of layout instead and that shape instead. And it is slightly smaller. This one, the largest die is 5.6 inches. The largest ones in the circles are 6.7. So it just gives you a bit of an idea on the different size cards and projects you could be working with. So they're original ones, our OGs as Dan calls them. Let's take them off to one side and bring back in our Christmas one. Now to go with this, we also have the matching stencil set. And in the stencil sections, you will receive all of the same pieces in stencil form as what you receive in your Kaleidoscope die set. And you can, of course, treat both completely individually. You don't have to use them together, but if you wish to use them together, then you absolutely can do. And how that works is around the outside of each of these filigree panels is an outside edge, which is not attached. That outside edge is the right size for you to use these stencils on, for you to then use your stencils and put them back together to make your circles. Speaking of putting the circles back together, this grid that you can see here is perfectly laid out for you to come in and place your sections back in, and they're all equally spaced for you. You may not be able to see it on screen, but there is also a zigzag circle engraved around the edge of this stencil that matches the stencil, or the die, sorry, that cuts out in this set, so that you can then take that die cut, place it over the top of the stencil, flip it over and place your sections back into it, all being equally spaced to where you need them to be, to make sure that you can easily line up. You don't have to line up on top of that circle, but if you wish to, it's going to certainly make it easier for you. Now the die set itself, this is what it's going to look like when it cuts out. So we've got all of these incredibly filigree panels. You can even see, like on our poinsettia, there's a bit of debossing going on there. And this poinsettia matches up with the poinsettia die set we'll look at shortly. And the poinsettia die set literally fits on over the top of this, so you can build up on that one if you wish to. As you can see, all of your different sections. Then if we come over to the side here, you can see that you can just cut those out on their own if you wish to. You can also cut them directly into the card by leaving off the outside edges. If you use the outside edges on their own, they're going to cut solids. Now, of course, that means that you could be stamping on these, you could be stenciling on them, you could cut these from your patterned papers. So although this is a Christmas design, you could piece that whole section back together and actually do them out of, I don't know, paper with Easter eggs on, if you've got a paper with Easter eggs on, or any other paper in the world. And that's kind of what I love, because although it's giving you this, it's also giving you the freedom to create as you wish. Then you've got 4 different corners that of course match up to the sections that are found within the circle, so that everything coordinates throughout. The recommended retail price for this die set is $28.99. The recommended retail price for the stencil is $6.99, just to give you a bit of an idea when you do go shopping for it, what you should be looking to roughly pay for them. Now, a little bit of inspiration for these as we go through them, just to give you some quick ideas. Now, these do literally make stunning cards, actually quite simply, because it's just about cutting them sections and bringing them back together. This one's actually done with some texture paste through the stencils instead. So again, it can be die cut, it can be stenciled, it can be a mixture of both. This one I've actually embossed using the stencils. So I've cut my triangles, I've put the stencil on top, I've sent them through the machine and I've embossed them. Then I've rubbed some ink over the top of it. I've then gone in and added some texture base with my finger over the top of that to give that kind of distressed look. These are big enough that if you want to make them into your actual cards, you can do. So I've made a little card blank here on the reverse and then just stuck to the bells on the front here. I kept thinking I wanted to add something more to this, but everything I put kind of over it detracted, and I really liked the bells on their own. But you absolutely could add more to that one if you wanted to. This beautiful card by Wendy shows you just a lovely white work version of it instead. Isn't that stunning? And of course this poinsettia and our fern is coming up shortly, so is the sentiment as well. And I'm also going to bring up the poinsettia. Can you see how beautiful that looks? This one has been cut out, especially like when you look to an individual petal. This one's been cut out of our brand new crushed velvet paper. It's so soft and delicate, it really is beautiful. And it does keep that kind of transparency to it. If you haven't seen that or used that yet, I'd highly recommend it. I'm bringing a sheet so you can see what I'm on about, just in case you've not seen it. But this is the product in question. It comes by memory, I think it's 10 colours in this. Can you see that? Oh, look at that. And you can see my hands through it. That's what I mean about the transparency, where the light's going to come through underneath your flowers if you're kind of leaving the petals up in the air. I don't know if I've got all of the colours here. This wasn't planned, but these are just a selection of some of the shades. I love that one. It reminds me of concrete, which I really like. And then the brown's gorgeous, but I like all of them, to be honest. I'm a bit biased, aren't I? But they're just really lovely colours to work with. That red is glorious. And again, I think the red is quite low on stock, actually. I know when I went to pick some yesterday, I think it was our lovely Unicorn Crafts that ordered some of the red, and it was very, very low. Very low.
It's gone very well, isn't it?
Yeah, it has been an incredibly popular line, that, and I think you can see why when you start to see how it looks. Then if we bring these in, we don't have to build circles with them. Of course, we can just factor them in and we can build little trees with them. They also make a great platform to add onto our little elves and bring in our characters. You can also add your die cuts to the top of them. So this one, I think this one was done by Lynn, if I remember rightly. Our lovely Lynn. Sorry, Lynn, I just spotted I've caught your sentiment. I'll fix that in a minute, I promise. But you can see here Lynn has made a little mixture of clear texture paste with some flakes in it, some of our silver flakes, and then she's added over the top of that the actual panel. And I feel, and I might be wrong here, but I have a feeling that Lynn's taken the grid, so this one is for the octagon, but she's taken the grid, placed it down, put that texture paste mix through it into each of the sections, and then sort of applied the die cuts into the top of it. It sort of sunk them into it, is how it looks to me, so that you end up with that kind of embedded die cut inside that, which is a really cool idea. And then of course you don't have to go for a circle. What about going for a star instead? So this one of course is using our sections, just putting them together in a star formation to give you a bit of a different idea. Okay, let's skip on to the next one, shall we? So let me just put these ones back in a little box and we'll hand these off to one side. Is there any questions, Peter?
I think it's me being tired and probably thick. Sorry, Fran. I'm trying to decipher Fran's message. It says, if you use 6 wedges per quarter, how big would the wheel be? Am I being silly?
No. I think.
Sorry, Fran.
Well, there's 8 sections in it currently, so Fran's looking to see if she could make it smaller. I'm going to guess by using 6 instead.
Oh, I see. Okay.
I think that would be quite messy, to be honest with you, Fran, off the top of my head. And this could be me being tired and a bit daft, but I think it would end up that you would end up with what looks like a Pac-Man instead of a section.
Yeah, I think it's made as 8 equal sections.
Yeah,
isn't it? So.
if you imagine just bringing in 6, if we do it here with the stencils, you're not shrinking the size of the circle. You're just going to end up with a gap. But this could be me being daft, so forgive me if that isn't at all what you mean. But you're just going to end up with a quarter gone. The only way you could shrink it is if you was to overlap them coming in, perhaps. And there's nothing wrong with that, necessarily. You could perhaps overlap them, twisting them around on itself, like this, so that they looked more like, and then you could tuck that one under that one, maybe. Stencils aren't the easiest for this, because obviously I've not glued nothing down. But there is potentially, not something I've ever considered or done, but a way that you could fan them in and then maybe stick a circle over the middle of it to cover that up, or maybe make a feature of it. I don't know how well that would work. I'm not saying it would work, but there's possibly scope to play if that's kind of what you're thinking. The other thing I would say as well, and it doesn't give you a circle, but these also make great borders, so you could quite easily turn them into a border element. Again, I'm just working with one shape or not one shape, sorry, lots of different patterns, but you could use that with either the cutouts or the cut-ins. They also make quite cool corners. So if you go for, I'll show you on a square so that makes more sense, but if we bring these in and we place them down in that sense, you can see that you could use them to make corner elements. And this is also kind of nice for scrapbooking because you can use them as photo tuck-ins. So there are different ways in which you can play around with these as well as building your circles, which could give you, again, potentially smaller or larger sizes from them if that's something you're looking to create. Okay, so our next one, you've seen it, let's chat about it. This, of course, is our beautiful Fern die. Now, this is one die panel that's going to cut for you all 5 pieces. So one pass through your machine and that's all going to come out together. So there's no fiddly little dies that you're going to struggle to keep hold of or lose on the carpet like I do and spend forever trying to find them. Everything is on one plate and it's going to cut all 5 for you. If you don't want to cut all 5, you don't have to. You can just put the card over the one you wish to cut and send it through, and that will work a treat for you. The Fern die is $13.99 recommended retail price, and this is how they look once cut. So they give them to you in 4 different sort of directions, or not directions, sorry. Let's try that again. 2 different sizes going off in 2 different directions. So you can turn them into corners, you can turn them into borders, you can do all different flourishes with them. And then you've also got a perfectly straight one in there as well, which again opens up a sort of different set of options, including turning them into little Christmas trees, which I thought was quite cute. Okay, when we bring these into our cards, this is the kind of thing we can be creating. Doesn't that look absolutely stunning? This one, I believe, is done by Ian. It is our lovely Ian. Ian has done some music stamping over the background. He's brought in one of our new sentiments. He again has used our brand new crushed velvet paper for the red flowers, or for our poinsettias. Here's one done all in white, using some of our new glitter that we also have for you available too. And then another one here using that beautiful crushed velvet paper. And then these 2 are cute. This one's lovely, again done by Ian. And also is this one actually. 2 nice small little cards, again created with the ferns, the poinsettias. Ian's brought in the corners on this one, and he's brought in the sentiment on this one to give you some different ideas. Now we're not going to go through every single card, because I know that we did that on last week's live, and you've seen a lot of these. You would have seen a lot of them on the Hobby Maker shows as well, but it is nice to give you a little bit of a glimpse at them. But I do want to fit in some demos this evening as well. So this one is our traditional poinsettia. This is one die again, and this time it's going to cut out 4 different sizes of poinsettia and then 2 optional centres that you can add to them. And again, all on one, so you're not going to lose any of the delicate pieces. This one is recommended retail price $14.99. And we've look off to Pete for the nod there that I get these prices right or anywhere near right. If I bring this in, this one's created by Sharon. It's a lovely little wreath here that I thought was very, very pretty, and nice to show that we can do lots of different things with these, as well, of course, as cards. But there's so much more to Christmas crafting, isn't there? There's so many decorations and baubles and wreaths and bits that we can be doing with them. It's what I love about Christmas crafts. There really is no end to them. This one's kind of a lovely one, again using the gold mirror card and placing this down onto a self-adhesive sheet, then adding some glitter over the top of it. This one's gorgeous. I don't know, this is in the wrong box, but this is actually the fern. Diane's used the fern here and brought it down to make a Christmas tree, and I really loved that. I thought that was absolutely beautiful. Of course, our cheeky little elves and the presents are coming up shortly, but doesn't that look glorious? Even this little kind of hanging mistletoe bit here, again, just beautiful. Really, really, really gorgeous. Sticking with another card created by our lovely Diane, here's another one. And I love the way with this one, how Diane's used the corner element to make up the background. I'd say you'd never guess, I never guessed that this is just the corner from in that Kaleidoscope set. So just taking, it's not this Kaleidoscope, but we'll grab one of these for speed, one of these kind of corners, and using that in multiple ways across the background to make up a whole backing panel. I thought was very, very special indeed. Another beautiful white work card here done by Lynn, again bringing in some of that crushed velvet paper to make the flowers. It's lovely to see so much inspiration with that paper because it's such a pretty one. And then this is of course created with our mirror card. I know that, or I don't know, but you might not know that we do mirror card in colours. We kind of snuck it in under the radar a little while ago, and it's kind of been here, but we haven't overly really used it. And then we took it onto the Hobby Maker shows this week, and oh my goodness, have you fallen in love with it. Literally flown out the door. We do have a little bit left of the colours, but not huge amounts, but it's available in red, green, purple, gold, silver, and then we also do a pink and a blue, don't we? I'm loving the fact you're nodding over there. I do know this, you know. But yeah, so there's all of those different colours available.
All I hear is, I think we need a good chart as well as Emma's naughty
chart. A good chart. The charts haven't made an appearance this evening, have they?
No,
I've upgraded the charts. The charts are on a fancy new board. It's not that fancy. It was just a piece of MDF that hasn't yet been put through a laser with a couple of bulldog clips, but they have been put onto the board. Do you wish to show the board, Peter?
Well, I'm modelling now, look, but... Yeah.
Take them through the board and talk to them about the board for a second.
Here's the board. So yes, there's not many. There seems to be more on mine than there are on Jamie's, I think. So
no,
I don't know.
I feel we're two each, aren't we?
Yeah, we are. We're 2 each. So we
have
need
you
to work
put on
out.
today's date for tonight?
Not yet.
Oh, I think that's worthy of the star.
Sorry, Emma.
I think that is disrespect to the chart. I think that's worthy of a star. You will have to agree or not or disagree in the comments.
I think Jamie's headed for one, really.
I think that's star behaviour, forgetting the board and not writing the dates down.
I think it's the excitement of being let out.
You haven't been out.
Well, no, I haven't.
You've been trapped in the warehouse all day today.
Yeah, that's true.
There is one of the lovely bits about the warehouse. Is a little van that pulls up at 12 o'clock that brings us food.
Oh,
That's kind of lovely. Very nice cakes, weren't there today? Very nice cakes.
yeah.
So yeah, so he does get let out slightly. He does get to go and see the lady at the food truck.
Emma's loving the board.
Yeah, it's a bit of an upgrade. Okay.
So it's a good evening to Jacqueline tonight. Jacqueline's joined us for her first night tonight.
Oh,
so.
Jacqueline, you've picked your evenings. We're not on form
Sorry,
tonight.
Jacqueline.
Apologies, Jacqueline, but lovely to have you with us.
She's probably tuned out already now.
Probably. Who are these random people with some
welcome.
star chart board?
Lovely to have you on board, Jacqueline.
Oh, it sounds like a cruise.
A cruise.
A cruise. Should we host a cruise?
We could have you craft.
Me and you on a cruise. I don't know if that would work. Okay, so back to where we should be as we plan yet another random adventure. So this is, of course, our new Father Christmas stamp and die set. And in this set, literally, you're going to get 3 dies and 6 stamps. Now, your stamps are all on one DL sheet, and then your dies sit beside them to give you all of the elements to cut out all of your main focals. Now, because we have a little bit more room on the stamp sheet when we design these, we've added in just a few more sentiments as well. So you've got Merry Christmas, Christmas starts now, and 'tis the season to be jolly. You've then got Santa please stop here on a little stop sign, the sack of presents, and of course Father Christmas. And on the back of Father Christmas's clipboard it says to-do list. All very lovely to work with. Now, if you've not seen our Cuddly clan before, this is actually quite a good time to refresh your memory or introduce you to our 4 original Cuddly clan members. So Ralph the Rocker was our most recent addition. He came out a couple of months ago. But our Cuddly clan kicked off with Deirdre the Disco Diva, Hazardous Henry, our little builder, and then Freddie the Fisherman. And now, of course, all of these are now available from Stockist literally all around the world. They are $19.99 individually as the recommended retail price, and every set gives you stamps and dies that coordinate to create these beautiful characters and bring them to life. But of course, today is all about Father Christmas as we take our Cuddly clan off on a Christmas adventure. So Father Christmas, once again, 3 dies, 6 stamps, recommended price is $19.99. Now the little cheeky elves poking over the top here, they will be coming up on Mrs. Christmas's stamp set when we look at her in just a second. And this is a lovely card that we actually demoed. I think we demoed this on last week's Monday Night Natter. I might be wrong. I know I've demoed it somewhere. It was either there or Hobby Maker, but somewhere there is a demo to that one. But both of them work together beautifully, but of course you can just pop in and get Father Christmas or Mrs. Christmas if you prefer, and use them independently. And I'll show you some more inspiration with Mrs. Christmas on her own in just a second. But you've got to admit, isn't he a jolly Father Christmas? He just makes me smile every time I see him. Him and the elves, I just think are glorious. I'm so pleased with how they've come out and how easy they are to work with. I've loved stamping for many years, but one of the bits that's always kind of put me off is I want to layer. I want to cut them out, and I don't like cutting out. I'll do it, but I'm not good at it, and I'd prefer to spend time doing pretty bits than trying not to be head Father Christmas. So if I can, give me a die, match that up, send it through, job done, and that makes me happy. So let's move on and have a little look at Mrs. Christmas. So Mrs. Christmas, she brings with her these beautiful little elves. And I'm going to leave Mr. Christmas out for a second as we move on to Mrs. Christmas and the elves. So Mrs. Christmas and elves, once again, stamp set. This time we are getting 8 stamps, 5 dies. Word-wise in this one, you've got Have Your Elf a Merry Christmas, just for you. Have lots of fun and this Christmas. You then have a matching tag die that matches up with several of these little sort of smaller expressions to cut them out and actually add them onto a tag if you wish to. Of course, you've got matching dies and stamps for the present, the elves and Mrs. Christmas too. And as you can see, and you see through some of those samples, how nicely they come together to work as a little collection. It just all coordinates. And again, Mrs. Christmas, in case I forgot to say it, the recommended retail price for this one again is $19.99. Lots of inspiration for this one. I love this one done by Sharon. Sharon's used little circle dies, cut out little windows and then popped the elves behind the windows, which I thought was really, really cool. But there's so many, I just love these little characters. And I could see that the DT really enjoyed working with them as well, because of, you can see they've just sort of snuck in to lots of different projects in lots of different places. And they've kind of gone from like focal points on little cards right the way up to mahoosive cards. And I love that because it just shows how versatile they are. And of course, we can't forget Mrs. Christmas. She certainly is the star of the show. And as I was talking about, I think this was on Hobby Maker the other day, I was saying how Pete sends my in-laws separate cards to his mum and dad for Christmas, and actually to be able to send Mrs. Christmas to his mum and Father Christmas to his dad and then personalise them a little bit for each of them, I thought it was a really lovely idea. But yet you could add in the elves and the little character bits to tie the two cards together, so when they sit on the mantelpiece you can see that they join. There's a commonality between them, there's a flow between them, and that's going to be able to be achieved by having a matching set that works so nicely together. So that's our stamp sets. We've got our stamp sets, we've done our flowers, we've done all of our dies in the main sort of collection as such, but it doesn't end there. We often talk about this when we design a collection. We try to think of everything for you, really, being honest. So we start off with the background, which of course was that lovely big kaleidoscope, the one that I call a pizza. We then looked at our kind of focal points to go on top of that. Now, whether you go elegant and go with some flowers and some ferns, or whether you go with the characters and make those your focal point, it's kind of giving you that focal energy to go on the front of that kaleidoscope. But we always need the bit that's going to sort of top off that project, don't we? We always need that sentiment that's going to carry it through. Now, whether that's one that we pop on the front, or whether that's one we use on the inside of the card, or whether it's actually one that we put on the tag to go with the gift, but no, everything flows together. So this release brings with it 5 brand new expressions. We've got Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, Hope You're Not on the Naughty List, With Love at Christmas, Dreaming of a White Christmas, and Wishing You a Christmas filled full of joy. Now here's the memory test, Peter. I'm going to go with $5.99, $5.99, $4.99.
Correct.
Is that right? I feel like
gold star.
Another gold star. Do I actually get these stars though? I feel like I'm being lulled into a false sense of security regarding the stars.
Could have claimed them.
You can't claim them. I think that's 2 I've been promised.
You've done good.
But we don't get good stars, we only get naughty stars, don't we? So that don't work. Okay, and then from here, of course, we've done all of your focal points, we've done all of your building up, but there's more to it than this, isn't there? There's always more to it. So I'm going to introduce you next to our tags, because what we also wanted to do with this collection is not only think about cards, not only think about that story of building up from the back to the front of a card, we wanted to give you something else to work on, and we wanted to make sure that you've got these in multiple sizes, in multiple styles. So let's introduce you to our Mats and Layers collection of nested tags. So I know that you know a lot of our nested family already, and I know that you've possibly potentially seen how these work before, but this is the tag version of it. So we have plain tags, and in here you will receive 15 plain tags. You then receive your 3 individual size holes that you can choose to use or not use depending on what you're wishing to do with your tags. And I say that because you might want to add 2 or 3 together and turn them into like an accordion card. You might want to turn them into a little brag book. You might want to use them sideways and use them as pages in a book with just a nice shaped sort of thumb mover, flipper, whatever you wish to call it. So you might not wish to use those holes at all, but if you want to, you've got them and you can pick what size you wish to use for which size tag you're working with. We then move on and we've got the decal edge and stitched nested tags. Now with these ones, decal edge tags, but separate stitch lines. So these are not joined to the tag or not joined to the die. And we do this with a lot of our nesting dies. So I'm going to bring these ones in. These ones are our rectangles, and this is the same concept. So you end up with a pierced line or a stitched line, depending on the set you go for, separate from the outside edge. And these are exactly the same as that. So you've got your decal edge tag, and then a stitch line, and that opens up a whole world of possibilities, because it means that these stitch lines could be brought in and be used within these instead. It also means that you could take that stitch line and use that just in the card on its own. Or you might wish to use the stitch line and then cut out the aperture with the tag. So lots of ways you can play around with those. Then on top of that, we have the scalloped edge and pierced nested tags. So if you haven't guessed already, scalloped edged with a pierced line. And this is fun because it means that you could take the pierced line and put it in place of the stitch line in the decal edges, or you could put the pierced line into the plain tags, giving you freedom to move those lines, whether they're the stitch or the pierced, between all of the 3 sets. It also means that your smaller plain set, so where each one's nested in 2s, your smaller plain set is going to stack perfectly on top of your scallop or your decal. So if you wish to mat and layer, you can build up within those sets. Now each one of these individually, the recommended retail price for these is $17.99, which, to be fair with you, is kind of a silly price given how big they are. These go up, so this one's the scalloped edge one. The largest die here is 4.6 by 7.9 inches. So these are big tags. They really are big tags. And again, this was done intentionally because I wanted you to be able to have tags big enough that you could put them into your albums and make albums from them, make books from them, or go right the way down to those little dinky ones and use those on your presents all throughout the year to of course use as a proper gift tag. Now when we bring in just a small amount of inspiration from our tags, just for speed, let's give you a little flick through on some of these. Whether you're using them as tags, whether you're going to open them, I think, is that one of my open ones? No, that one is a proper tag. There'll be one here somewhere, I'm sure. Here we go, this lovely one by Diane. She's stuck 2 tags back to back to turn it actually into a card, which works really nicely instead. So of course they don't just have to be tags, they can really be 3-dimensional cards. Or this is lovely, look at this. This again done by Diane. She's taken them and put them through on little steps throughout her project to make a really cool 3D card. Now just a couple more to give you a bit more inspiration as well. And hopefully here you're starting to see all of the elements through the collection coming together and working together to make these beautiful tags. Now we've of course focused on Christmas because that's what we're doing at the moment, is Christmas. But of course a tag is for life, it's not just for Christmas. These could be Easter tags, they could be Valentine's tags, they could be birthday tags, they could be Mother's Day, Father's Day. You know, every present we give throughout the year needs a tag on it to tell them who it's to and who it's from. These are the perfect way to do it. And I said earlier about doing different items with your tags. This is cool. This again done by Diane. She made little envelopes out of them. So just folding that tag into thirds to create a little pocket. And I'll show you a little booklet in a minute where she's actually done some and put them as proper little envelopes so you can pop bits into. And I can show you them open so you can see how they work. Then our last one to go through, this one is our plain tags. So just a bit of inspiration from this one, and then we'll check in with Pete and see if he's got any questions that I can help answer as well. So lots of these to flick through. Aren't they beautiful? And so easy to do and so creative. And I don't know about you, but it's really lovely to actually work on different shapes and then start taking those shapes and creating different shapes from those as well. So when it comes to our sort of cards or our boxes, you imagine doing this one back to back to back, whether it be a triangular box or whether you go all the way and turn it into a square, or whether you go out slightly further and make it a hexagon or an octagon, whatever you prefer, you've got that ability because you're the one in charge of creating the panels to build that out as much as you wish. This is a lovely sample by Ian. I really love this because it's so nice to see that actually we can take Christmas off on a bit of a grungy, steampunky formula, and adding in these cogs and playing with our metallic waxes to decorate these up, and of course bringing in our enchanted sprinkles, it gives a completely different look to those different pieces and panels.
All those tags are quite limited in stock, aren't they, as well? I know you said
they are.
Yeah, so just bear
that was a they are as a question because I don't think I got them on my radar as well.
They are, yes, they've been incredibly popular, so don't miss out on those if you do.
It's always hard, isn't it? Because I said at the beginning, honestly, we don't want to pressurise you into going, I've got to order them tomorrow. But equally, I don't want you being disappointed. If there's something you've had on your radar from the shows, from last week's sneaky peek, don't dilly-dally. If Pete's telling you they're low, is telling you the truth, that there won't be many. These, of course, are our brand new glitters as well, and these have just launched, and we have been absolutely bamboozled by how popular these have been. I think our gemstones, and I'm going to bring it to me so you can see them, our gemstones family has been incredibly popular since it launched, really. Where are we? With this side. So the gemstones family runs all the way along this shelf. I don't know how well you can see all of it.
I feel like you're going to do the weather or something.
The weather.
You need a stick.
It's hot. And it's just hot. And it might rain a little bit, but it's just still going to be hot. That's pretty much what the weather's been here for the last, feels like forever, but a couple of weeks. But I'm not moaning. I love the heat, and it'll be 2 minutes and we'll be moaning it's cold. But there are 14 colours in the Gemstones texture paste, and there are now, finally, 14 colours in the Gemstones glitter. And we do this intentionally because it's actually really lovely to be able to say to you that we've done the coordinating part for you of bringing you the texture paste with our glitter in it, but then bringing you the glitter as a separate entity. Because if you might want to do your background with a texture paste, but then just add a little bit of loose glitter as a border on some tape, or maybe with a quickie glue pen, add some details to a die, for instance, in ways that you wouldn't be able to necessarily add your texture paste down, but yet it's going to match perfectly. Colour and tone is going to be spot on. So this is our Larry Marr one. This is one of the original ones that's been out a little while. As I say, there are 12 colours in total, but the 4 new colours are these ones, which are Amethyst, which I'm going to see if I can bring them in for you actually. Amethyst, Emerald Green, Ruby Red, and lastly, Diamond White. And they're the 4 brand new colours that are now available. And the recommended retail price for these is $5.49 individually. I'm going to get a nod on the $5.49 because I feel like I've gone out on a limb there.
$4.99.
See, now we're doing it. This is what happens when we don't write the little post-its.
Bad, isn't it?
Who can we blame for the post-its? I feel it's a you star.
You would.
Definitely feel
Diane's
that's a
on my
star.
side. She's very much thinks you're trying to give me stuff.
Diane, what are you doing? You're meant to be on my side. Oh, honestly, this isn't good enough. Besides Diane backing you up in this situation, is there any other questions or bits that I need to answer?
Our lovely Debbie, evening Debbie.
Evening
how
Debbie.
Sweetheart? You've got, she says, how long before we get more stock in once you've sold out?
Genuinely, a little while. And I know that's vague, isn't it? But it will be a little while. And I'm talking probably 4 to 5 weeks.
Yeah, we'd hope to get it under 4 weeks. So.
But it's no secret. We can't have them manufactured, sadly, in the UK. That would be lovely if we could, but we can't. So we have to bring them in from abroad, from China, and that takes quite a while to get here, even with air freight. So although conversations are already happening and more stock is potentially coming on board, it will still be a few weeks because of these things don't happen overnight. So if it is something you're looking at and wanting, as I say, don't wait, but equally, for whatever reason, you might not be ready yet to do Christmas. You know, we've got a while, haven't we? Then hopefully we'll come back.
Poor Alison. Evening, Alison.
Excuse me.
Lovely glitter. No badge yet, by the way.
No badge.
No
Still no badge.
She's worried that her first pension is going to be crumbling away.
Sorry, Alison.
Sorry, Alison.
Sorry, Alison. But you've done well, though, to get to your pension, haven't you? And, like, get it, hard cash, like that. I don't know if me and Peter are ever going to get there, are we?
I don't think we will.
I don't think that's going to happen.
No.
So, good on you. Okay. Are we any more comments or questions, or can we demo? I feel like I've waffled forever and not done anything, so I feel like we should do something. Can you see how lost I am? Usually so you've got the desk on the top that you see all the bits on, and then underneath is where the cameras are and all the card is and all of my bits, and I normally know where bits are, but it's all moved. I used to have a little tower off to one side with my card in as well, but it's all gone behind me. So if I look vague, like lights are on nobody's home, it's because I'm trying to find things, so please forgive me. So let's put you back onto the overhead so you don't have to look at me looking completely lost, because it's happening. I can't find white card. I found white card. Don't fear. It is here. So what we're going to do first of all is we're going to create this card, and we're going to start off with the background. Now these are stencils that have been out a little while, but we used them on Hobby Maker, and again, they've gone bonkers, and I mean genuinely bonkers. But you will find them available from Stockists. They come out with last year's Christmas collection, but there are 2 that we featured on the shows. There is Falling Snow.
Snow Flurry.
That's the one. And
Snowflakes.
Snowflakes. That one I could get. It's this one. Always this one that bamboozles me. like most things. For this card, we're going to go with this one, which I've now already forgot the name of, so we're just going to call it Snow. And we're going to bring that in, and we're going to place it down on our plate, and we're going to put our card over the top of it. And then we're going to bring in our rubber mat. So we're using a kit and caboodle machine. These come with the rubber mats. So we're going to use a rubber mat, and we're going to place that over the top. Now I know Jacqueline was new this evening, but you've probably heard me go on about this lots of times before. Using your rubber mat, what that's going to do is it's going to push down on the card, and it's going to push it into the opening of that stencil. All of those little dots and holes for the snow, it's going to push that card down into them little holes for us, and it's going to create an embossed or debossed effect depending on which side of the card we actually look at. You can of course use your stencil with all of your misters, your inks, your different mediums, your texture paste, your glitters, all of them bits. But I am always impressed by using a stencil with a rubber mat, because it just gives the look of embossed card as if I've used an embossing folder, where I haven't, I've just used a stencil. And to me, that means I've got more options of what I can create from a stencil, because it's opening up new avenues and giving me new looks without costing me any more pennies. And stencils tend to be a lot more cost effective, I suppose is a nice way to say it, than what an embossing folder is of that size. These stencils are cut from a slightly thicker mylar to what a lot of brands use. So again, they're quite a nice weight. That also means that there's more depth to emboss with. So if you're looking at that and thinking, well, I don't get that when I emboss a stencil, it could genuinely just be the type of mylar your stencil's been cut out of. If there isn't as much depth to it, there's not as much room to push down, not as much depth to push into as what this stencil's offering you. It also means that when we use texture paste through it, there's more depth to the texture paste as well, so you're going to get a more prominent effect with those two. And that isn't just this stencil or the snowflake stencil, that's every single one of our stencils. All of the Stencil Vault stencils, all of the Jamie Rodgers Crafts stencils are all cut from the same thicker mylar to give you more body. And I'm going to say that we must now have 100 stencil designs.
Virtually.
I would imagine it isn't far off, is it? I know there's 40 in the Stencil Vault family before we even move forward. And of course, we don't have to only use the emboss side. I'll try and get this so you can see it. We can also use the deboss side as well. So what in theory is the reverse of the card. That's the front, giving you the emboss, but we could use the deboss, just like you could with an embossing folder, for instance. So once we've got that panelling sorted and layered up onto some foam tape, let's go ahead and put that onto a card. So we're going to go for an 8x8 card, so that's 8x8 for the envelope, 7 3/4 by 7 3/4 for the actual card blank. And we're going to bring in a piece of silver mirror card, and we're going to add this on first. So this one will be 7.5 by 7.5. And then we will add on our panel that we've just embossed, which will be 7.25 by 7.25. You look like you've got a question then.
No.
I sped up my measurements because I thought, oh, incoming question. Are you?
I am.
It's lovely, isn't it? I love that stencil. That always looks good. We need to ask him the question to win this card, actually.
Well, I was thinking
Are you ready?
Well. Yeah.
Are you ready? We've got something different. Do you know, like, we're at the warehouse. That opens up so many different things. Let's do your question while we're on it, because then they can start getting in their answers. Are you ready, Peter? Your question this evening is, how many pots are in our tub? So this is our Heliodor gold glitter, direct from the warehouse. You're going to have to jiggle it a bit, Pete. They need to see, they've got an estimate here. So
jiggle,
how many...
Jiggle, like
jiggle, jiggle, jiggle.
This is just one tub that we went to get.
Just one tub, gold glitter.
Yeah.
How many pots are in the tub?
This is where I drop it.
Closest winner wins the cards. So closest winner wins the cards. Just one entry, please, because if not, our comments will go bonkers and Peter will never find who's got what. No. But everyone can enter once. Give us a number. How many pots are in the tub?
Ooh.
What's
I don't know.
About?
I don't know.
And whoever gets closest, we will pick a winner and they can win the cards that we've made this evening. Apologies for the stupidity, it's a bit random, isn't it? But I thought it would be fun to give you something different to do than instead of telling us what your favourite pizza topping is, for instance. So, how many pots of glitter are in that tub is all you've got to tell us, and Pete will pick a winner by the end of the evening. So moving on, we're going to create a little snow drift for the bottom of our card. So I've got 3 pieces of card here that are already been cut down to the same width as my snow embossed panel. And then all I'm going to do, and I'm sure you've seen this done a million times before, but we're going to bring in some scissors and we're just going to cut these going across to make some little snow mounds, to make our little hills for our trees to sit on. And of course you can use the bits that have trimmed away as well if you want to. But we're going to just take a couple of these and make just a few mounds for our snow. You don't have to follow the same pattern every time. It's kind of good if they don't look too uniform. And as I say, these bits can absolutely be used as well if you wish to build it up even further. But we can then add these on. Obviously that one's a bit tall and that one's a bit short. So I might move that one up a bit. So we could potentially go in and just trim that one slightly smaller, just so it isn't too big. So in again we go. That looks a bit more in keeping for what we'd want to be adding, to be fair. Now, moving on to our snow that we're going to add onto the top of this. There's a couple of ways we can do this. So if we go for our glitter, which I'm going to be honest, I've lost the drawer. Where's the glitter gone? Here we go. So if we're going to bring in our diamond white glitter, and we're also going to bring in our diamond white from our Gemstones texture paste, just to look at 2 different ways in which we can do this. So the more messy way, I feel, more sort of true to its form, is if we go in and we pick out some of our Gemstones texture paste on a paintbrush, which is what we're going to do here, and we then take our snowdrift and we load it across the edges. So that's not too bad. Maybe it's down to the brush you use. That looks quite neat actually. But we're just going to carry on going. And my brush has got a little bit of pink in it. So if you can see a bit of pink coming through in that snow, there's some pink on this brush that wasn't there when I picked it up. It's funny how that happens, isn't it? They just reactivate. It's actually quite nice. And it does show you actually how nice it is to colour your texture paste. White glitter texture paste can open so many doors just by adding a little bit of shade into it, whether that's for something like your Elite Misters or with the Enchanted Sprinkles, something along them lines, which I think this is Enchanted Sprinkles that's on this brush. I think I used that on a live a couple of weeks ago and forgot to wash it. But it could then add a new colour and tone to it. So you can do it that way, one way with our glitter, or we can come in with our loose glitter. And for this one instead, what we're going to do is we're going to bring in a tile so that if we go over the edge, it doesn't matter. And we're going to bring in our glue. So we're going to use our clear drying glue and we're just going to draw a line going all the way down the edge here of our mound. All the way from one tip to another. Now you can put your glue out into an ultrafine bottle if you'd prefer a slightly smaller line. But actually it's the depth I quite like that you can achieve with the glue direct from the big bottles, because then it's going to come out slightly more and you're going to end up with more of a dome, which I think looks more effective and more snow-like. Then we're going to bring in a piece of paper and we're going to bring out that diamond white glitter and add it to the top here. It's a little sprinkle of this. And this is such a fine glitter. If you caught last week's live with Gwen was doing a great technique of mixing colours of her glitter, and that looked really, really nice. If you miss a live, whether they're my lives or Gwen's lives, Gwen's are 7 PM on a Thursday, you can always catch up either by going back down the page, our main Facebook page, or you can watch them on our YouTube channel. They get uploaded to YouTube usually the following day, usually. And then you can see everything that we've been up to and of course comment along. You can't enter the competition sadly because they would have closed, but you can join in with the fun of the show. So once we've created our mounds, I've just then used some 2mm foam tape and I've put mine together in a little snowdrift that we can then bring in and add on to the bottom of our card here. How are the numbers going, Pete? Are we anywhere near?
One is very near.
Very near. Oh, how close? I know you can't tell us the number, but are they within 5 of the right number? Within 2? Mm-hmm. That's some good going, that is. I'd have no idea.
No.
Before Pete counted them, I made some very wild guesses and was proved very, very wrong indeed. So yeah, don't look to me for advice on this one, I'm afraid. It's not my strong point, it's guessing quantity. So what we're going to do next is we're going to bring in one of our self-adhesive sheets. Now our self-adhesive sheets come in packs of 5, and we're just going to use one of them for this part of the demo. We're going to bring the sheet in and we're going to bring in a piece of our polar white cardstock, and we're going to peel off the reverse. Actually, I might not go for white. I'm going to do the same tip I was talking about the other day on Hobby Maker. Instead of, if you're going to use a coloured glitter over the top of a panel, if you've got some, use a similar colour card. Because if you use a similar colour card, when you add the glitter over the top, you're not trying to cover up the harsh white that comes through from underneath. And if you're doing a character like Father Christmas, Mrs. Christmas, or the Elves, and you want to add, let's go with a red hat for Father Christmas, if you colour the hat red first with an alcohol marker, and then put the red glitter over with your glue, it'll be a lot easier to cover it. And if you've missed a little bit, you're not going to see it because the red's going to come through instead of seeing the white come through from underneath. White's a lot harder to cover up than red is if you're working with a red glitter. We're then going to bring in our sections. So we're going to go to our sections of our kaleidoscope, and we're going to find these. Let's bring this in, and we're going to just cut out a couple of these. So let's bring those in. We're just going to use the outside edges. Don't forget they're not attached, so we can just pick however many of them we need to be using. We want 5 trees, so we'll bring in the 5. I've got them cut, don't panic, we're not going to do all of these individually, but it's nice for you to see how they can cut. So we're going to bring in our dies, we're going to place them down onto our sheet, onto our magnetic sheet that is, so that they're here and ready. There's our 5th one going up there as well, so we can be quite frugal with this. And again, that might be a panel then that you want to use, so if you equally space them, I'll show you the waste in a second, but it might be something you then want to take advantage of as well as using the cutout part. And we'll send that through the machine. So we're only cutting the background at this point. I've already gone ahead and I've used the swirly tree with the outer edge, and I've cut those out of silver mirror card. And these are the ones that are going to go on the front over the top of that self-adhesive.
Good evening, or was it good afternoon, to our lovely Charlene from the Paper and Ink Boutique.
Oh.
She's very late to arrive, but she's been playing with your opulent Christmas tree. She's having a blast.
Our opulent Christmas tree is gorgeous, and there's so many ways you could use that with this collection. I know that, was it Father Christmas, I believe? Father Christmas and Mrs. Christmas, Sharon put together with our opulent tree. Doesn't that look lovely? And it just shows scale-wise how well they work together as well. I like that. That's very cool. But lovely to have you with us, Charlene. And so nice to hear you're working with some of the Christmas collections.
I think I spied an order on their way with their new goodies.
Yeah, we've read them out as one of the stockists to keep an eye out of. And oh, by the way, I haven't asked, have I? If we do have any stockists with us this evening watching live, and you would like to pop a link into the comments to tell us where to get these goodies tomorrow morning, please feel free to. It's always a joy to have you with us, and it's always nice to give you a little shout out. If you give up your evening to be with us, it's certainly nice to make sure that we give you a shout out and say good evening. So please do comment away.
I know a lovely craft bliss are on board.
Good evening, Julian, Barry.
Absolutely. I think Ben. I see Ben earlier into craft.
Good evening, Ben.
Apologies if I missed one of our other lovely stockists.
I always say this, but I always feel with your stockists, if they join you, it's such a lovely thing because they've been at work all day. The last thing they want to do is listen to me waffle on all evening. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, I have to do it every night.
Oi, oi. They've been surrounded and working hard, especially in this heat, picking and packing and sending your orders and teaching classes and chatting away at the till point. And it's just, I always think it's really lovely that they give up their evenings to then come and join in again and listen to us. So lovely to have you with us. So glitter over the top, burnished down, tapped off. So we then reveal our sparkly tree. Simple as that. Now this one's got a lovely placement area for you to add some nice glittery gems to if you'd like to make those trees even more baubles and beautiful. We'll pass the glitter off to Pete and he can pop that back into the tube for us, into the jar, and we'll bring in some that we've already created. Now with these ones I have already added those gems on them, so if you can see some coloured dots coming in, it is of course the beauty of our gems that we've added here. So we're going to bring in our card and we're going to have a start to play around working out where we're going to want these. So should we do a bit of a dry run? I think we're going to have 2, maybe 1 there, 1 here, and then we're going to bring them down from there, I think, if we follow the original, but we don't have to. Oh, I've lost a little gem. I'll come back to you in a minute if we need to. And then we'll have 1 in there, I think. Just making sure that we're leaving enough room for our sentiment to be up there. So yeah, that works. Let's pop these into place. So into our snowdrift, we're going to add in our first one, making sure that it's somewhere where it's going to be seen, and then we can go in for our second. And again, we're kind of going into these dips. They just stand into the dips really. And then we're going to go off into the centres of these for our next. Then onto our 4th one located just over on this side. And then I don't like the way you can see that edge, so we're going to bring in our 5th one and we're going to place that going up there, and we don't want it to be too onto that one. We don't want it to look like we're stacking. So we're going to go over to one side just slightly and place that down. Actually, I'm going to move that down slightly out so it's underneath there. And we've set out our trees where we want them to be. And of course you could play around with this. If you were doing a scrapbook page and you wanted them all the way across the bottom of a page, that could look really beautiful. If you was going to be doing some 3D ornaments, maybe like a candle set, you know, I don't know if does that have a name? When you put your candles on like a little log in the middle of your table, like a table centre. That's what I'm trying to say. And if you wanted to put them going all the way around it, that could look really lovely. There's many, many ways in which you could sort of shape those and use those. Now, again, joy of being at the warehouse, Peter has just done a little run to the warehouse and brought back the gift of Christmas, Father Christmas. Now, this is our Christmas, Father Christmas from last year. Following all that lot? That was a lot of Christmas, wasn't it?
My little supermarket sweep run, I have to go and find it.
Now, I'm guessing you might have a question in regards to size, scope, style.
My comments are frozen, but it was from a lovely Kim. Kim dear. Evening, Kim.
Good evening, Kim.
She said, can you show the new Father Christmas alongside last year's one to compare the sizes?
He's pretty much the same size, actually. Let's bring him in so you can see him together. But I think you'll agree he's a different style to what last year's was. But he would actually work quite nicely with Mrs. Christmas. So you could certainly use them together if you wanted to run it for a project. I don't think they're too different that would be a problem. Or if you've possibly already got him and you're thinking, well, could I put him with Mrs. Christmas? That would work quite nicely. Or maybe you want to use him with the Elves. It could work. Why are you chuckling over there?
Yes, I agree, Hazel. She says WD-40 for the door.
Yeah, the door
I did it, I was like, oh, squeak.
Yeah, the door is a bit... It's got one of them things on the top that auto closes it, doesn't it? Yeah. I don't know what they're called. But yeah, it is a bit... But it's good because it makes sure that I know where he is. I can't go letting him out too often, as we know.
Diane says you need to oil those hinges. Sorry, guys. Maybe that could be a sound effect.
Could be. Just one of our sound effects for the building.
Creaky door.
So we're going to pick up a bit of glue, just on a blending mat.
Maybe it wasn't maybe it wasn't the door, maybe it's me.
No, it is the door.
It is the door.
It is the door. It's fair. It's fine. We've got quite a bit of work ahead of us yet, haven't we? And every day the boundaries just kind of get moved slightly further of what we want to do and how we want to do it. And yeah, the list gets longer, doesn't it, Pete?
It's like we add more things to that list.
We do just keep adding and adding and adding, don't we?
We do, don't we?
So let's flip this over and add some glue onto the reverse.
Oh, if you could see his face right now.
Oi! That's your second oi of the evening.
That is.
I don't know what you mean, Peter. Okay, we're going to
Diane thought I'd pop to the loo.
No. Went in search of Father Christmas.
Did.
Not the first time, I can say that. We had the same at Lakeside. Turned around, he'd gone.
I don't know where you're going now.
Trying to say you went chasing Father Christmas at Lakeside. You didn't. I don't actually know the last time we went to Lakeside.
I need my sleep as well.
I think we both do today. But it's a joy to be with you all. So don't listen to us moan. So here is our lovely card created that we're going to send out to one lucky winner. So if you haven't already, let's get Pete to jiggle his box again and show us how many glitters he's got in
ready
there.
for this.
For you to give a guess as to how many's in there.
Ooh, look at all that lovely glitter. So can we see how many bottles, little bottles, little wee bottles are in this little tub?
Wee bottles? They
Not
turned
wee
Irish.
Anyway, answers on a postcard, or preferably in the comments, of how many little bottles you think are in there of these little Heliodor Gemstones glitters.
We done?
My bit here is done.
Your bit here is done.
Yeah.
You've jiggled and you're done. Okay.
Yeah.
So card 1 is complete. Should we do another one? It's scary, isn't it? But we'll do another one if you're still with us. Are they still with us this evening? I think they are still with us. Yeah. I don't know why you would be, but it's lovely to have you with us, so thank you. Okay, what are we going to do next then? I've covered up my kits. My kits are normally in a drawer, kits aren't in a drawer this evening. So we're going to do this one. So should we create a tag? We haven't made a tag yet, have we? So let's play around and create a little tag. I'm obsessed with these tags. There is so much we can do with them and they're so much fun to play with. So let's play with one of these and see what we can get up to. And we're going to start off, do we cut one to begin with? Because it's always nice to see. Can I just give you these bits for me, please, Pete? Thank you, so I can get to my tags. Thank you. Okay, so on to the actual pieces that we're going to be playing with. This is the tag that we are going to create. Our lovely little cheeky elves come in and feature on this one. And we're going to start off with the actual tags themselves. So for my one, we're going to double stack it and we're going to aim to have 2 different tags. So in the background, we're going to be using one of these with just a stitch line. So we would go for, not a stitch line, sorry, a decollage. So we would go for that one and cut out the outside edge. In the middle, I've left the die so I can show you that the cutout for the die is wherever you wish to put it. So we'll take that out of the way and I can show you what we've created there with our little aperture. For the layer to go on top of it, we're going to bring in the straight ones because it is, again, all the plain ones, I should say. So we'll bring in one of the plain ones and we'll play with these for a second. So with these, we're going to bring in the matching size to go with it. We're going to place that down on the board, as you can see, and then we're going to bring in a matching stitch line. So we'll use a pierce line. So this one is our pierce line from in the scallop set. And this, again, is something I love because if we've given them to you as individual lines, you might choose to actually bring in a couple of them, place them together in this format. You might even, we're going off on a tangent here, is that going to be the right size? We might want to go up one. Let's bring in a couple of these. So let's bring in one of our plain ones, see which one fits. That's going to be the same size. So we'll go for this one. That might look quite nice. Should we have a little go and see? So we're going to cut this and create a little frame with it instead, because this is all about giving you all of these different options. We don't have to keep them as solids. We might choose to cut them open, use them as individuals. We're going to see if we can fit in the medium size of the hole in the top of this one as well, so that we can show you a different idea there. If not, we'll put the small in, but I think that might fit. That's going to fit for us nicely. So we'll place that there, place on our card, and we'll send this through the machine.
Our lovely Robin's with us this evening, well, this morning, actually, from Picture Stamps. Hi,
I should
Robin.
imagine it's quite early morning, isn't it, in New Zealand?
I think, about 7 o'clock in the morning, just gone.
7 o'clock in the morning?
Oh, imagine waking up to us too.
Oh.
Sorry, Robin.
Oh, you'd need a coffee. I don't even drink coffee, but you'd need a coffee. Okay, so once we take that one out of the way, but it is lovely for you to start your day with us, so thank you very much. So we've created our little aperture frame tag, and then we've also created the tag that comes out of the middle. Now we might wish to place that back in and do something different with it. We might keep that open and foam tape that on here, and then add some acetate into the back of it, turn it into a shaker tag. You know, all of these options are available when suddenly we've got all of these independent dies that we can play around with. And this set, or sets, is certainly going to give you the freedom to create all of these different pieces with them. So there's so many options in how you're going to be able to play around with these to create those sort of shaker tags, to create your background tags, to create your booklets. Honestly, the list is endless. But what we're going to do is we're going to bring in one of these I've already cut. So I've used the plain one here and I've used the pierced line. We're going to bring in our stamp press and we're going to find them cheeky little elves because they've got to come to the party. So let's bring in a couple of those. So we'll of course go with the ones which come with Mrs. Christmas. Now I will be honest with you, and I don't like doing this too much because we do it far too much than we probably should. And it is a long-term tease, and we did this with Rodney, and we haven't yet delivered, have we? But I promise he's not far away. He will be soon here. But these elves, I have so fallen in love with these. I have a feeling when it gets around to next year, we're going to have more elves. We're going to have to, because I've just so enjoyed them. I keep saying it, but they make me smile every time I look at them. So I feel this is going to be the beginning of a story. Let us know in the comments, and I am now talking a year away, so forgive me. But would you like more elves? Are you like me and falling in love with these two and feel that we need more little elves in our life? Because in my head, I think I need a little elf family, little elf set. We'll see, maybe. Next year's a long, long time away. A lot could happen by then. But at the moment, it is kind of one of my wants. But these two are good to start with, so I'm not grumbling. They make me very happy. So I've stamped mine out using our Black Panther quick dry ink. So of course that ink is now pretty much dry, but it is equally still able to take embossing powder while it's still sort of tacky for a few seconds. It's also waterproof, so we could colour it in with any juicy inks and bits like that, elite misters, things like that. It is also alcohol marker friendly, and that means that we can come in and colour it in with no fear that those lines are going to bleed, which is just what we need it to be. So what we're going to do is we're going to bring in an alcohol marker, and we're going to do like I mentioned in the demo earlier with the Christmas trees. We're going to colour in where we want to add glitter, because we're going to make our elves quite sparkly. So we're going to add in any green areas that we want to add green glitter to. And again, you could use our glue, you could use a quickie glue pen, you could use all different manner of items, up to you how you prefer to do this. But we're going to add in our area, and then I would actually do this with an ultrafine bottle, but I haven't got one in here, it's in the other room. So we're going to do it from the chunky nozzle of this one, but that's fine. It'll give the idea. Oh, he's chuckling
Diane
again.
says yes please to more naughty elves, you two are not enough. A lot of loving and requests for more elves, so yes, I think that's definitely on the list.
I honestly,
They're very cute.
Fallen in love with these. So yeah, maybe next year. As I say, we can't fit them in this year, but maybe next year. Maybe. But I do like them. Okay, so a bit of glitter. I'm going to sprinkle this on over the top. So we're going to use the emerald green glitter. We can tap that away. And just like when we did it over the card a little minute ago, it's just easier, because if I have missed any bits, I haven't quite got into the corners with the glue, hopefully you can't see any areas I've missed. Everything is sparkly and glittery. And I would do that, and I would repeat it with multiple colours. So for my finished elves, there is white glitter, purple glitter, red glitter and green glitter, all been added on. And I just tend to leave it a few seconds, or a couple of minutes I suppose, between each colour, just so I know that they're dry enough that they're not going to take the next colour on over the top. Because if you are too quick, you might find, a bit like this example to be honest with you, there's a little bit of red that's gone onto the white. Now if you have that, don't ever panic, just add some more glue over the top and then add your white glitter on again over the top of that. It will cover, it's not impossible to hide it, but if you're a bit too quick with wet glue, or if you do go for the glue medium instead of like a quickie glue pen, you might find that you'll get sort of contamination between the two colours. Now with this one, I've of course taken our sentiment, I've added our sentiment onto the top of it. So I've already done that for this one, and then I added glue into the stars and added some of the white glitter into them as well. So we'll take our foam, take it off of the back of this one, and we'll add our lovely white elf tag onto that lovely gold one.
Rose asks, how big is the biggest tag? And could I make a card by folding a piece of card in half and not cutting the folded edge?
Yes, you could. Yes. Can you hear the cogs turning?
You can. The boss says yes, you can.
Yes, you can. I will show you, because that's a really good question and a very nice question to ask. So thank you, Rose. Let's have a little look at that. So I haven't got any card blanks in here, which is again one of the reasons for the pause. But we'll take a piece of card and we'll just fold it in half, and we'll do it really naughtily, because if I could actually get my scoreboard and do it properly, but we're just going to fold it. And we're going to go for the largest tag. So we will use, let's go for the decoration.
Rosie was asking if we do any card blanks.
We don't do any card blanks at the moment. We used to. We had our pebble grey card blanks, and you might find those available at some stockists. but sadly we could no longer get them. But we are genuinely, and this isn't a tease, I promise you it isn't a tease, because we deal with a few different card suppliers, probably 4, maybe 5, I'm going to say off the top of my head without giving it too much thought, and printers, different people like that. And we've asked every one of them to do us some card blanks. And every one of them has come back with just unrealistic prices in comparison to what's on the market. And if we're going to bring you something, we're not going to do it at a, I don't want to say a ridiculous price, but in my mind a ridiculous price, a price that's too far for it to be usable on an everyday project. So it is something that we want to do, we really want to do. We've got ideas for what we'd like to do to make them different to what's already available. But equally, essentials to what is available would be good too. And it's something that we're desperately working on. So not yet, but one day, hopefully, if we can get somebody to manufacture them basically at the right price. So I've left the tag edge just slightly over here, and I've added in a pierced detail. Let's have a look and see how we got on. Brilliant. So I went for the decal edge one, which is obviously the more delicate of our die cut edges in these, because anytime you're working with a die, if you know the plainer the die is, the easier it's going to cut. These have gone through 2 levels of our polar white card. This is 300 GSM, so we've just cut through 600 GSM, and we've still done it with a nice decal edge around the edges of them, and we've even added in that lovely stitch detail to it. And if we open that up, the stitch detail is embossed into the one on the inside as well. So it's not quite as prevalent as it is on the one on the outside, obviously, because we've gone through 2 layers, but it is there and it does look lovely. And that exactly would show you how you could easily make your card blanks from it. Whether you choose to add in the hole at the top there as well, or whether you build up on top of that or do more with it, you know, you've now got a card blank, really. You could do all of the different techniques you would normally do, but have it on that beautiful tag styling instead. So loads of options to play around with that. That's a really good idea, Rosie. And it could, of course, go as a sort of tent fold or as a portrait fold, whatever you prefer. I hope that helps answer the question.
Diane asks if it's possible to show one of tag cards to show another way of doing a card. I'll put you on the spot now. Yes,
it is. Of course it is. Let me find... Oh no, we haven't shown Diane's little booklet yet, have we? This is the one I shared earlier. So I'll share this one again with you because this is, I love this one. It's got the little elves on it. Our cheeky little elves. So Diane this time, let's delve in a bit more so you can see what she's done. She's taken 2 and she's stuck that top fin part together and then scored to make your card open out that way. And that gives you a different way to do that. So if you don't want to die cut it and join it like we did, if you actually just want to take the panels and join them together, then absolutely that's a different way to do it, and that works just as well and as you can see, kind of effective, or very effective. So for that one, all she's done is added the next tag onto the top and scored the back panel so it sort of steps away from itself. But again, now my holes don't match with these because these were cut at 2 different times and we allocated room for that extra line on this one, so the hole's a bit higher. But had we done them together, that would make a really cool card actually, wouldn't it, to have a little window to see inside. Or of course you could make a proper luggage tag in that style instead if you prefer. So yeah, Rosie, honestly, loads of different constructionary ideas that you could be doing with these depending on which way you wish to join them and sort of build from them. So I hope that gives you some sort of inspiration. Okay, on this one, all we need to do now is add the ribbon, and nobody wants to watch me add ribbon because it takes me forever. So I'm going to add that afterwards and we will send that out to our lucky winner. If you haven't already guessed, do please pop your guesses in the comments of how many pots of glitter are in that box Pete keeps jiggling. Do we have the box to jiggle again?
Oh, you're very demanding this evening.
Making you work hard tonight, aren't I?
You are.
With the old jiggle, jiggle, jiggles. So if you haven't answered already, how many pots of glitter do you think are in that box? Ooh. Have we got anybody closer than 2 away yet?
No, we're still 2 away.
Still 2 away.
Can we see? Look at that. Lots of gold, goodness. Other than Elves, we had a few requests of other bits. So,
oh, we like a request.
I've moved off quickly.
You're okay.
Down there. So for penguins or...
We were chatting penguins
we were,
earlier.
weren't we?
We were
named
chatting
one,
penguins.
haven't
Not this year, but we were. I know that's
No.
awful, isn't it? Because I'm like, not this year, and we're only in what, July, but not this year.
we? Yeah, and also
Sorry, but penguins next year.
polar bears, maybe
nice.
some reindeers from Heather. Heather's in Australia. Should we buy some a lovely Jeanette J grass?
Very nice, very nice.
5 in the morning there. Very windy.
5 in the morning.
5 in the morning.
I hope you're up because it's windy and you haven't got up to watch us.
Yeah, Heather, what's
Although
that?
if you have, that's very lovely and thank you very much. But I do hope you haven't. We'll be here later on repeat. You can watch us at a more sensible time. It's very early to deal with us 5 in the morning.
That's a lot to handle.
It's a lot. It's a lot. You'd just be like, come on, get on with it, wouldn't you? I would. 5. I'm not a morning person. I'm a night person. I could stay up till 5. I couldn't get up at 5. Well, I can, but I don't often. Any other suggestions? I like the suggestions. It's always lovely to have suggestions, genuinely.
Yeah, a lot of love for polar bears. Really
I like
nice.
polar
So, yeah,
bears.
I can see lots of.
I like the Coca-Cola polar bear.
Oh,
We
the
obviously
polar
couldn't
bears.
do the
Oh,
Coca-Cola
incredible.
polar bear, but I do like the Coca-Cola polar bear. We'll have to see. As I say, Christmassy this year. There's a lot to come. There is a lot to come. But
It's getting the look.
I'm getting told off. I'm getting the eyes from that side. So, but no penguins. I don't think there's any penguins or any polar bears yet this year. I can't think of any. Okay, so what are you chuckling at?
Little naughty school kid, isn't he? He's like,
Who, me? I don't know what you're on about. Should we do the next card? Let's move
think we
swiftly
should.
on. So this one is a style I really like doing when it comes to Christmas cards, especially if you're going to be giving a gift voucher or money, because of you want to put it in a card. You probably don't want to bother to wrap it because of it's a bit. To me, it's a bit random wrapping a gift card. I never really like the envelopes they come in because if you just hand over that, it feels like, well, I haven't really done anything. I've just popped to Sainsbury's and bought you a gift card. This could all just be my rambling, so forgive me. But I always think if you make the card look like a present, it's kind of like you've wrapped the gift card as well. So I don't know why, but it's just possibly me on my own little tangent, but it's something I like doing and I think it gives a different look to it. So for this card, I would use the same stencil, or a different stencil, sorry, but do the same embossing tip that we did for our first one earlier, which is send it through with the mat and emboss it to make our background. But as you've seen me do that once already this evening, should we do something slightly different? Should we go for some texture paste? Because it'd just be nice to see something a bit different to the first one. We're not going to use it because it will need to dry, but it'll give you a little glimpse at the texture paste going through the stencils and seeing how they look as well. And I really like the idea of this one. This is aquamarine. This again is one of our Gemstones texture pastes. So we'll bring this in and we'll do some aquamarine snowflakes. Just to be completely different to what we're actually meant to be doing. That, if you're wondering, was me thinking about what else we could do with this. Should we do a couple of different colours? Let's play a bit. So we'll do a few bits of aquamarine around the edges. This might not look very good, but we're going to play. We've got a moment to play. What else have we got in here? Oh, some silver. So we're going, is that silver? Yeah, it's a dirty silver because it's already been got by purple last time. I've dug into it and contaminated it with something, but that's fine. We'll bring this in. Might guide us to use the purple next. So this one is argentite. And we're going to bring some of this in and we're going to purposely mix it with the aquamarine. I'm going to go around these edges, just mixing. It's kind of an annoying noise that, isn't it? Apologies. You thought the door was bad, and then I come in sounding like I'm sanding down the stencil. And then, shall we, I don't know, I think that's a bit dark, but I do quite like the idea of bringing in some purples. So shall we go violet? Now actually what we could do at this stage is look at what is our homework this evening. So yeah, would I, possibly. Our homework, can you see my dodgy writing? Apologies. Our Christmas homework this week, or our homework challenge, let's try that again. Our homework challenge this week is to do a Christmas card that's modern. So hashtag modern. And the modern is blue, purple and silver. So I'm going to kind of claim that's my blue. We'd probably allow that in fairness. So we're looking tealy blues, aren't we? And this is kind of a light purple, but it'll give you the idea. This wasn't a thought out plan, so forgive, but it'll give you an idea of where we could be going and what that could look like. So we'll add in the violet sapphire. I'll run through the homework again properly in a minute. But it did just give me thoughts of that's something that would kind of tick the boxes. We'll take a bit more out from in here, and we'll bring that in from this side. Add that down here. So on Thursday, if you're free and fancy another live, on Thursday night at 7, Gwen will be with you, and Gwen will be showcasing ideas with the Cuddly clan. So do you remember earlier I shared with you Freddie and Henry and Deirdre, the Disco Diva? Gwen will be using all of those in her demo on Thursday evening and giving you some fresh inspiration with that collection. If you haven't yet watched Gwen's lives, I would genuinely highly recommend them. She's much more professional than we are. She actually has a plan of what she's doing, and she creates the most incredible things and gives you the most incredible hints and tips. I genuinely sit there awestruck every week and enjoy every minute of it. And so does Pete, actually, don't we? Last week we watched Gwen's live on the drive up and checking into the hotel, and it was just we were captivated. We honestly didn't want to leave. Even when we went to check in, we were still really in awe of what she was doing and how she was doing it, and being inspired by what she was up to. So if any of you do get a chance, again, Thursday 7 p.m, come and join Gwen for an hour or so, because it is well worth your time.
Diane says maybe a Yeti.
A Yeti. Oh, I like a Yeti idea.
A Yeti could be fun, couldn't it?
Could be fun.
And Alison says that present dies might be nice as well.
You've got the cheeky smile to the present dies. What are you thinking that I'm not?
I don't know. Present dies would be nice, wouldn't they?
I don't know. I feel I'm missing something. I'm a bit slow tonight. So, okay, there's our white version. Now, of course, we've mixed the colours slightly more by the time we've got to the black version, because we've sort of worked them in a bit more. So you're going to get to see them more showing through in the shades on this one. But I actually really like that. This isn't at all what we're meant to be doing, is it? Not at all. Not even an iota of what we're meant to be doing. But it's really lovely to see them come together in different colours. And I do like the way that you see that sort of shading come through. Again, we go to the depth of the stencil. When we've put the blue in first, I'm going to see if I can get to what I'm trying to talk about here. Is it this one here? Round here somewhere. You can see the blue come through on that base layer, and then the silver and the purple sit on top of it. So even though we've kind of covered up the blue, the aquamarine, it's still there and you get that hint come through. I really like that. Really like that. I'm going to pop that off to one side to dry, and we'll see what we come up with that later down the line. But it'd certainly be a nice homework entry.
Sue, good evening, Sue.
Good evening, Sue.
So what about a snowman and family?
Oh, our dear Rodney. We don't have a Rodney to show you. I might have to send Pete to the warehouse.
Oh, not the squeaky door again.
Squeaky door time.
I think I've got toilet problems.
No. But our dear Rodney, who we launched last year, who come out at the same time as the Father Christmas we gave you a little sneak of earlier, he will be back this year in the not too distant future, and he will be bringing with him a little family. I can't tell you any more than that because I've probably told you too much already. I got the eyes off Peter for telling you that much, but I have confessed it many a time over the last year that I really loved Rodney and needed to bring more inspiration and more sort of stories with Rodney to life. And yeah, there will definitely be more with Rodney later. Okay, so what we're going to do now, before we stick this down, and you'll laugh, I have to write on the back, because when I demo things, whenever I've demoed this style of card before, I always stick the panel down and I'm then like, ribbon. So I have to remember to write on them when the kits are done. So on the back here it tells me ribbon, and that means that I can bring in the ribbon, I can anchor it down at the top there, I can put my foam tape back in place, I can go down the middle, we can lift up this bottom bit, we can anchor that one down, just so I don't keep sticking to the panel. And then going to do exactly the same on the side. So we're going to take this part off of here. And we're not too worried about the middle because we're going to be covering that in a second. We can run that across there, and then we can anchor it down onto this side. We'll give it a little check that we're happy with it, because if we're a bit out, it's still a chance to move. Before we've stuck it down to the card, we can make sure that everything's roughly where we want it to be. And I'm never too particular about things like this, because by the time we stick on the flowers and the wording and that, you're not going to notice that section's slightly bigger than that one too much, I don't think. And, you know, it's handmade, so not the end of the world. So we're going to go with that, and we're going to call that, we'll call that our bottom section, because that looks like it's going to be big enough to fit our section in, our sentiment in. We're going to take our tape off, and we're going to bring in our card blank, and we're going to go with that one being that, oh, I don't know. We're going to go with it that way, because it's that way now, so on it goes. And then we're going to bring in our sentiment. Now, I have a feeling with Love at Christmas, which is the sentiment we're going to be using, is one of the ones in our sentiment family that's probably the closest to selling out already, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
I had a feeling this one was. All 5 of them are very, 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 very close indeed. But I have a feeling it's this one followed by or close to the big verse, the one we used on the tag. Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. They're the 2 I think that are just marginally closer to selling out, or closest to selling out. But there isn't much between any of them. So again, if you have got your eye on them, don't linger too long. Okay, so a bit of glue over the back of this, cut from gold mirror card, so it matches in with our ribbon. Then we're going to place that down in the corner here. And then we're going to bring in our glue, which I bought in my ultrafine bottle. If I send you out again, Pete, at any stage, can I remind you to grab my bottle for me off my desk if you think of it, please, but don't go especially. So what we're going to do now is we're going to add in some glue around these areas, just enough to anchor them down, and then we're going to cut the die again from red mirror card, which we've already done, so you don't have to wait for me to do it. And I've got these pieces that I've just attached onto some masking tape, and we're going to peel these off. And then these are going to fit back perfectly within the aperture that we took the waste as such out from each of the die cut areas. So we're basically paper piecing these back in. And the words on this one and the other verse, the joy one, are perfect for doing this with, because they're nice big openings. So it isn't too challenging to actually do this. And if you don't want to put glue into the aperture on the die cut, because that can be a bit messy if you add too much like I did, you can of course do the same trick as what we did to put the main panel down and put the glue out onto an applicator, then add that down instead. We're going to add these in all the way across, and then we're going to add in the L at the end here, just to complete our word. And there we go, there is our love put in place. Then on to our flowers. So for this one, we're going to use our ferns. So we're going to cut these from some green mirror card, and we're going to bring this in, and we're going to add this going through the centre of our ribbon. Then we're going to take the foam tape off the top there, and for speed, I've already gone ahead and I've cut and created a poinsettia using again our red and green mirror card, and we're going to place that down in the middle of our ribbons. And then in the centre of that, I've added a few gold gems to just finish that one off. And hopefully you'll agree, that's quite a quick, simple card to make, and would be one that would be quite good fun to batch make. So if you're somebody who makes to sell, of course, our products you can do that with. We kind of encourage it, to be fair, because we'd prefer that you're making to sell for charity or for your own business, so that you've got a few more pennies to actually reinvest in your craft hobby, whether that's with our products or anybody's, it doesn't matter. It's all about making sure that if you're going to craft as a business, that there's certainly an avenue for you to make an income from it, because it's important that you can do that. Now, Pete went and got Rodney for us. So this is our lovely Rodney. If you've not seen Rodney before, this is Rodney. Now, Rodney is patiently waiting for his family to arrive. It's going to be a little while yet. I'm not going to lie to you. A couple of weeks, few weeks. So hold on there. Rodney will have a bit more of a family later on down the line. Now, we haven't officially set your homework, have we? So let's do that before we forget. And Peter, have you chose a winner?
Yes, I have.
Oh, good. So our homework mission for this week, just in case you didn't get my ramblings when we were creating that card. We are looking for you to make a modern Christmas card using shades of blue, purple and silver. And I'd like to see this on an 8x8 card. Last week we set the mission of a 6x6, so we're going to up the ante a little bit this week to an 8x8. We will pop up a post on the group, which is where you share your cards. If you've not seen or heard of our homework before, all of these missions take part on our Created with Jamie Rodgers Crafts Facebook group. It's free to join, of course, if you're not already a member, and you can pop on there, and then when you're ready, you can enter your creations into the competition for this week. When you do share your posts, please make sure that you put hashtag modern on it this week. So hashtag modern, because we're aiming for a modern Christmas card. And then that way, when I go to find them, to make sure that we've got everybody included who's entered, they're easily found. So hashtag modern. Also means if at a later date you want to come back and get some inspiration for a Christmas card or a modern Christmas card or a with love card like last week's mission was, you can easily find the hashtags and find all of the cards in that kind of theme or in that styling. So this week, hashtag modern Christmas card, blue, purple, silver, on an 8x8 card blank or footprint. So you might do an 8x8 page to go on an album, for instance. It doesn't have to be about cards. It might be an 8x8 picture that you're going to frame in a frame, maybe. Now this frame behind me, it's time to talk about the frame, Peter. The frame behind me actually has the backing in it that come from IKEA, and it's still got the little foam or felt covering thing, the little peely bit that you have taken off the top. I don't know what they call that. Cellophane bit. I think we need something in that frame, don't you?
It's a bit well, it's a bit plain, isn't it?
Needs something in the frame, doesn't it?
Need something in the frame.
So on Wednesday, this is the big bit. So if you fell asleep in all of my waffling this evening, apologies. This is the bit that you need to put in a big asterisk in your calendar. On Wednesday at 1 PM, technology working, there'll be an announcement. It's a big announcement. Probably our biggest announcement yet, I think is safe to say. Do you agree with that?
I think you can safely agree with that.
So join us on this page.
Oh, it's such a tease.
1 PM, Wednesday. And if you go looking for clues, can't say you wouldn't find any anywhere, but if you went looking for clues, and if you even tried to find somebody to bribe, there's not many people in the world you could bribe for our information, could they?
No.
In fairness, it's very hush-hush.
And we're not having a baby.
We're not having a baby. It's not personal
Sorry.
news. It is personal news. It's very exciting personal news, but it's not personal news as in we're having a baby or getting married. It's business related, and it involves something that needs to appear in that frame and will be very, very interesting. So join us 1 PM on Wednesday when we reveal a little cheeky something.
Kim's asking, is it a wedding?
No, nothing along them lines. But we can't play Guess Who because if not,
We
that would ruin
can't.
it. But just join us Wednesday at 1, where there will be a special announcement being made. And it's a really good one, I think. So, yeah, join us for that. And I'm not going to tell you any more. In actual fact, I'm going to try and wrap this up quickly so I don't give away anything else, because I will. I'll tell you everything. You know me. And this is a secret that we've been holding on to in the background for, what, 3 months?
Possibly longer.
It's been a while in the workings.
Time.
Been a long time. I think it's robbed years from me and from Peter as we've kind of worked things out behind the scenes to tell you. But I'm telling you too much. I'm going to stop talking. But 1 o'clock on Wednesday, join us back here. It won't be a live. It will be a video, hopefully, if it works. But it will tell you about our new announcement. And it is genuinely very exciting. So come and join us 1 PM Wednesday. So don't forget, wrapping things up before I waffle too much, Stockist launch day takes part tomorrow morning at 10 AM. So check out your Stockists. The Stockists that have the collection that we've been sort of talking through and working with are the Art of Craft, Unicorn Crafts, Into Craft, Dragon's Paper Craft, Craft Bliss, Cheshire Crafts, Gilly's Crafts, Craft Mania, and of course Hobby Maker have very, 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 very few items available. And then the collection will of course be available on Highlight Crafts next week, won't it? 16th, 17th of the month. So keep an eye out for those. And then internationally, check out the Paper and Ink Boutique in Canada. For Australia, J-Craft, and for New Zealand, Picture Stamps. All of these people, all of these places will have this collection available in the coming days. Do you have a winner, you little chuckle monster?
I
over in
do.
the corner?
Sorry. Mary and Kim have both said Debbie McGee.
Debbie McGee. It could be.
It could
That is what we could have done.
Debbie
We could be Debbie McGee.
could
Really
be
hot vote for Debbie McGee in the corner. It was it Jacqueline who was new to our lives, if she's still with us and hasn't given up on all of life.
It is. She says thank you for a lovely evening, great demos and cards. Thank you very much.
Oh, sorry, my telly was going to turn off. We've gone on so long, my telly was going to turn off. I had to hit a button to make the telly carry on. It's not Debbie McGee. It's not even Debbie McGee related, but that would have been really funny. But I'm going to go because I will tell you everything, and you've got to wait till Wednesday. So from me, good night.
Oh, I haven't done the winner.
Oh, haven't you? Oh, come on.
You've left me lingering.
I think that puts you on 5 stars.
5? Where did that jump?
5 stars. Come on.
3 stars. Anyway, enough waffling, as he says. Our winner this evening goes to Fran Porter, who guessed 120 with 118 bottles in.
Oh, that was close.
Well done, Fran.
That was really close.
It's very close, within 2.
Your jiggling must have been impressive for Fran to work out that close how many was in there.
Well, I think it was, she did very well. We had a lot of close ones, didn't we? So
very impressed. So Fran, you know the game. If you could please message the page with your address and let us know if you'd like the projects signed or if you'd like them left blank, and we will do as you wish and we will pop them in the post to you as soon as we possibly can. So don't forget, Stockist launch tomorrow morning, 10 a.m. All of these goodies are available at Stockist all around the world for you. Wednesday at 1 p.m, join us back here for a very special pre-recorded message. I'll tell you that just so you don't type away and expect me to answer, because it won't be live. Because if it's live, I'd never get through it all and tell you everything. So 1 o'clock Wednesday. And then Thursday evening at 7 p.m, join Gwen. Gwen will be live with lots of inspiration from the Cuddly clan. And then I will be back with you next Monday for hopefully, possibly, maybe a little bit more of a professional evening, because I feel we've lagged a bit this evening. We've been off on tangents and we're not really with it, are we? Exhaustion is key today. So hopefully next week we'll be a bit more rested and be a bit more on our game for you all. But it's been a joy to be with you. Thank you for joining us. And we'll see you all next week if you don't join us on Wednesday at 1.
Very
good
confusing.
Night. Pardon?
Very confusing.
Confusing for us too.
Thank you all for joining us. See you soon.
Night night. Bye.
Bye.